Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're going to take a look here again at APT, see what's going on. It's been a little while since we last covered it, so just heads up, we'll be kind of looking at potentially liquidation levels. Let's see if it's even available here. Sometimes some coins are or are not. Here we go, it is available. So we'll take a look at some liquidation levels to start, kind of go from there. And if you are new to the channel, just ask you hit the like button, comment below, learn as much as you can, and obviously make sure you use your own risk tolerance because some folks will put way too much emphasis in my analysis, and the concept here is to give you some insight and to help you kind of make an informed decision, but whatever decision you take, it's definitely all on you, right? And in that regard too, as far as liquidation, why we look at that is it helps us understand gravitational forces towards certain areas of interest. And also, where the heck are the support and resistances at? So if we can see here, 9.5, 9.6, pretty decent amount of liquidation down there. That implies that a lot of people are long with some high leverage longs and some lower leverage longs that down as low as $9 when the price crossed that 960 point or bounced effectively. So we saw a lot of longs at that point. That's a sensible place based on just like what I've seen so far with the chart. It looks like a previous high turned into a new low type of support, and there's a strong chance that will hold. We'll double check that to see. Let's quickly understand a few things here as well for the macro. 750, 760 based on this month. We see a lot of liquidation down there. Those are just previous longs that still have their long positions open, or they haven't effectively, closed their stop loss or whatever the case is. Basically, these are stop losses and or liquidation events that haven't happened yet. So it leads me to believe there's a lot of greedy folks here in Aptos at this point, holding onto their longs still. At this point, though, we can also see as well, this is pretty heavy delta for shorts. Now, this means that shorts are probably going to get destroyed here soon because you maintain that level of delta for too long, and market makers are going to see that. They're going to come and sweep all that juicy blubber, right? So what I mean by that is if something's overextended for a long period of time, the longer it stays overextended, the more likely it is to pull back in whatever direction it's, the opposite of whatever direction it's going. That said, though, ever since the 23rd of October, it's maybe about a day and a half ago, we can see the price action has been maintaining this level. So that leads me to believe that a reversal is coming and we might see the price go up, possibly because of that. We're going to look at other things too, but this is just kind of the back end data. We also recognize as well, a lot of folks are underwater here from previous at about 212, but recent longs at 192. So we got a lot of interest at 192 and previously that 212 mark. Okay, so now that we've understood that, we're going to draw out some new levels here, kind of see what's going on. And as per usual, if you're not familiar, folks, I always post a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, so you know what I'm expecting to happen with the coins. I'll provide you with the liquidation levels if you didn't see those or maybe weren't paying attention at that point too, because those things are definitely very helpful. But what we want to look at here would be a couple things. First of all, let's acknowledge this local low here. So we go ahead and draw a trend line out here, kind of letting us know where we're at. Okay. Again, we've seen the price action wick down there multiple times without crossing or closing below. That's generally a favorable sign, letting us know there's a lot of support down there. Okay. So that's a good thing to kind of pay attention to. We want to look at the daily time frame too and confirm the daily candlestick closures have never closed below that. All right. And then if we kind of look here recently too, there's also, while there's a lot of fair value below the price, this 930 to 960 range is an area that could essentially get wicked out. But more importantly, we got a local high there as well for 932. That's a daily candlestick closure from before. Let's quickly see here as well. This is important to recognize too. We want to look at our ascending trend, kind of draw out a trend line here for the ascending type of situation here. Because again, this just kind of gives us perspective of what's going on. It'll commonly align itself with the 20-day SMA, which we're seeing right now so far. It's a very positive sign. Being above that is essentially something you want to trade into, not against. All right. So hypothetically, a long right now makes way more sense than a short. Let's take a look, of course, here as well. Let's go ahead and just copy this guy and recognize that we are in a bullish rectangle pattern. This is actually very awesome. I like to see this because when you get into a bullish type of rectangle pattern, we see this happen with Bitcoin recently. And a lot of other coins too. Solana also had a very similar scenario there where it broke out very hard, very fast because of that. Now again, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. It's not because of that. There's a lot of other confirming factors that were present, and this is icing on the cake. So please understand, when I move on to analyze the rest of this chart, I'm not going to be biased towards bullish behavior because there's a bullish rectangle. That is just there because there's a lot of bullish pressure still existing at this range, and it's more likely to break up than down. That's all it is. It's just a statistical probability. Taking a look here, of course, at the RSIs, etc. here. This is phenomenal. I love to see this. First of all, RSI is in that sweet spot of like 60. Basically implying that people consider this to be still a good value. The money flow index is high, implying that there's a lot of money flowing into this coin. And what do you think is going to happen when people still feel this is a good value and the price is sustaining itself and Bitcoin breaks upwards? we got a strong chance that this coin is going to continue higher. Anyways, it's a very favorable sign. We can also see MACD, even though it's tentatively diverging, starting to plateau, and trend strength index is above 0. Key takeaway here is we're above every single moving averages, and that's essentially a very important part of considering a trade. Keep in mind too, there's a significant amount of fair value in this lower range here because this price wicked up pretty hard without getting filled. And keep in mind, a lot of times that will happen where the price action will pull back to fill those levels. So we could very well see somewhere in the range of a 13% correction. Actually, that'd be larger because obviously the price is higher. Okay, so it could be like a 16% correction. I'm not implying that's going to happen, but just know that exists. That's also synonymous in a lot of ways with the amount of fair value and or liquidation below the price, right? See, right there, it's all that stuff right there. Okay, so keep that in mind. Again, not a reason for it to happen, but it's just something that's a potential reality. Okay. Quick congrats too, actually, while we're on our Discord, just want to say thanks to my community. We took some nice profits on Bitcoin and AVAX shorts, and right now we have technically a Bitcoin long open right now because it is printing a nice looking cup and handle and has a lot of bullish qualities. So if you're not familiar, take a look at my Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. You'll see that reflected there. Let's get back to the chart here and just recognize the 4-hour time frame and what we're looking at here, because I want to make sure that we clarify a few things. First of all, we're at 50 on the RSI. We're just above 50 rather. Okay. Generally, that's a very positive sign. It means you've broken tentatively bullish. Money flow index is a little bit behind, so don't love that, but a lot of it is hinging on the simple fact that we had such a strong correction here. It's averaging that in because the RSI, MFI, they take the last 14 days and they factor that in, right? So obviously we saw a lot more selling pressure than buying pressure. That's why the money flow index is trailing behind. We can, however, see money flow index, while it's slow and steady on the increase, but still behind. We can see the MACD is looking like it's ready to converge. We've also got the trend strength index under 0 rather, but trending upwards now. A lot of times you'll see that continue higher based on a lot of positive contributing factors. Keep this in mind, we are still under the 20-day SMA, so that's not a resistance level, folks. Contrary to popular belief, SMAs are not resistances. They are essentially ranges that let us know that we're on the wrong or the right side of the tracks. It's a good way for me to explain it. In other words, being below that, generally construed as not super awesome or not bullish. However, we're above all the other moving averages, and everything else is confirming a bullish continuation is likely. Okay, so breaking above that would be fantastic and phenomenal. We want to take a look at the hourly too and kind of see where we're at with the Ichimoku cloud. This might be a little off, and we are traveling into the cloud, which essentially is usually construed as a no-buy zone, just mainly because it's somewhat of a resistance, right? So if you kind of draw a trend line out here, you could see that the price action hasn't broken that trend line, right? That's essentially what the cloud is telling us here. We haven't broken above that, mainly because it was such kind of an aggressive pullback and increase, okay? So it's gonna give us some false positives, but the truth is, until we close above 1050, I would say you might want to consider waiting to take a trade. That's generally what this is telling us. However, the more important indicator is a lagging span that's free and clear, letting us know we've broken mostly bullish, and then of course conversion line above the baseline. So there's a lot more reasons why this coin should go up than down. It's just that from a confirmation standpoint, you generally don't want to trade into a resistance, which we've established based on daily candlestick closures at 1050 range. And until we close above that soundly, we want to make sure we kind of remain patient and diligent. So the truth is, a lot of times what you want to do, and this is probably a little easier to see on the 4-hour, is you want to trade this. You want to get in there after the price passes that resistance and becomes a new support. Okay, now again, you can kind of see this here. We had a lot of trouble crossing that threshold, blasted through it, got too greedy, price pulled back to fill its fair value. Now that all liquidation has been swept in the local range, we're going to probably see the price continue like this. That looks like a distinct probability to me, but again, what do I know? Anyways, I hope that makes sense. I described that correctly. Thanks so much again for watching. If you're new to the channel, make sure you check out Bitunix, link down below for some awesome deposit rewards. This is running through till the end of the month. You got a week left. If you're part of my community, you've already had options to take advantage of this. Make sure you do. I appreciate you watching though. Thanks again so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.